Privacy versus law enforcement, or maybe encryption versus justice. We're going to talk about that whole Apple DOJ thing today. And, oh yeah, Linux Mint got hacked. All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Greetings, I'm Patrick Norton, and this is ThreatWire for February 24th, 2016. Your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. And a big thank you to all the viewers that support ThreatWire at patreon.com/ThreatWire. Okay, big story. Apple versus FBI. But is it really that simple? Let's talk about privacy and safety. They've been a big part of the conversation for many Americans, not just security geeks, ever since Mr. Snowden started leaking NSA documents a few years ago. Throw in a generous helping of security failures, say Home Depot, Target, and Ashley Madison, and a soup can of FUD because, hey, that seems to be how news media outlets roll, and you have the great battle of privacy 2016. Which comes down to a legal battle. Will Apple create a tool that will make it possible for the FBI to guess the password on the San Bernardino terrorist iPhone? It's not really a tool. It's not really a backdoor in one sense. What the DOJ says they're asking for is a special version of the OS tied to a particular iPhone's UDID that will allow the FBI, in the words of Director James Comey, we simply want the chance with a search warrant to try to guess the terrorist passcode without the phone essentially self-destructing and without it taking a decade to guess correctly. That's it. Comey adds the particular legal issue is actually quite narrow. The relief we seek is limited and its value increasingly obsolete because the technology continues to evolve. We don't want to break anyone's encryption or set a master key loose on the land. I hope thoughtful people will take the time to understand that. Maybe the phone holds the clue to finding more terrorists. Maybe it doesn't. But we can't look the survivors in the eye or ourselves in the mirror if we don't follow this lead. This is an interesting concept. That was essentially a response to Apple CEO Tim Cook's open letter, which begins, the United States government has demanded that Apple take an unprecedented step which threatens the security of our customers. We oppose this order which has implications far beyond the legal case at hand. It's an interesting thing. And I'm going to say that part interesting over and over again because this is going to get messy. Because this is the real world we're talking about. Because once that special version of the OS is created, it's safe to assume that A, the US government will try to make it usable on other devices because they do that, and B, it'll eventually leak out on the internet, and then C, in the words of Tim Cook, have the potential to unlock any iPhone in someone's physical possession. Let's pause here for a moment. This iPhone is pretty high profile, but there are at least a dozen more iPhone unlocking warrants dogging Apple. And the creation of such a service for the US government would probably compel Apple to do the same for every other country on the planet, many of which don't require a search warrant. They just do what they want to when they want to. The FBI, in their credit, they say it's not a backdoor. We don't want to break encryption, just this one phone. Apple says it is, because it will undermine, quote, decades of security advancements that protect our customers. Because it's never as simple as undoing one thing. It's about undoing all of the things that work together in the operating system to make that phone less penetrable to hackers and people that would steal your information or your banking. Think about everything you do on your phone now. Do you use Apple Pay? Do you use any of those other devices? Do you purchase things on eBay? Do you do your banking there? And then take a step back and think about right now, if you take an Android phone, which doesn't have that whole self-destruct as you guess passwords option in there, I am told by people familiar with the process that you can get through the oh wow, see there's 4 digits on an iPhone. That's 9,999 possibilities, maybe 10,000 if you do all zeros. I'm not good at math, I majored in lit. But what that means, in an Android phone, if you automate the guessing, 16 hours. That's not a lot of time. So, it's really not a lot of time if it's automated and they do some of the other tricks you can do, especially if your phone is in somebody's hands in the wild, or maybe just an angry little kid's sister. Should you be protected from your kid's sister? Did I mention this is interesting and messy? Let's talk about what happens next. Court battles, mostly over whether the FBI is overstepping the All Writs Act of 1789 to require Apple to write an OS that will undermine its security protocols, which Apple believes, and you might want to brush up on the NSA Snowden documents when you think about this, well, quote, the government, Apple says, could extend this breach of privacy and demand that Apple build surveillance software to intercept your messages, access your health records or your financial data, track your location, or even access your phone's microphone or camera without your knowledge. And hey, that's assuming they already aren't, because the NSA, when they tell tech companies to open things up, they also give them a gag order so they can't talk about it. On the other side, FBI Director Comey says this case is about the innocents attacked in San Bernardino. It does highlight that we have an awesome new technology that creates a serious tension between two values we all treasure, privacy and safety. That tension should not be resolved by corporations that sell stuff for a living. It also should not be resolved by the FBI, which investigates for a living. It should be resolved by the American people deciding how we want to govern ourselves in a world we have never seen before. We shouldn't drift to a place or be pushed to a place by the loudest voices, because finding the right place, the right balance will matter to every American for a long time. Damn right it will. Props to Apple for taking this fight on, but it's time to reach out and educate your congressional reps and brace for impact, because you better believe that the Supreme Court is going to decide on this one long before Congress does anything about privacy or security or which one is more important to the American people, because Director Comey's words to the side, it usually is the loudest or most empowered voices that decide what happens. Encryption and privacy or total government access? Which side are you on, citizen? Which side are you on? Beware of a hacked ISO if you downloaded Linux Mint 17.3 Cinnamon Edition on February 20th. This is not the sort of thing you want to read if you downloaded Linux Mint on February 20th, but we gotta give the Mint crew props for recognizing the breach and making the community aware as fast and as public and as loud as they could. Essentially, hackers put a backdoor in a Mint ISO in the hopes of building a botnet and then hacked Mint's website to point to it. The Linux Mint blog has instructions on how to check if your ISO is compromised, how to fix it, back up your data, reinstall the OS, then change your passwords. And in a statement I truly love, in a world where high-profile hacking cases are continually denied and underplayed by corporations and governments, on the blog page there's a big bold subhead that asks, "Is everything back to normal now?" And the Mint crew says, not yet. We took the server down while we're fixing the issue. I heart honesty. Way to go, Linux Mint. Our featured comment this week comes from Privacy Required, who in response to SMS APK posted on YouTube, "We need critical reporting, Hack 5. I mean, seriously, SMS APK? Can't anyone see that this news piece is only reported as an advertisement for the security firm?" Oh my goodness. You got us. You're totally right. This isn't about a vicious new way of attacking high-profile operating systems. Like, Android's not used by most of the phone users on the planet. Android doesn't have security update issues. This doesn't sound like the early days of email phishing, when broad assaults yielded random results before crackers developed targeted phishing made for vicious attacks. Like, I don't know, nailing people's banking accounts. This is all about promoting, oh, sorry, you used the word advertising for nothing, that security firm. Right. Oh, a quick heads up for Tyler, who asked, why aren't you talking about the Apple FBI thing? This was posted last week also. Because the story broke right about the time Shannon was in studio recording ThreatWire. Sometimes a weekly schedule is cruel. And frankly, the story was an evolving mess we wanted some time to think about, and we hope we did it justice this week. Thanks for the comments, Privacy Required and Tyler. Hey, if you got any thoughts on today's stories, leave them right down below, and we're going to scan them when we get a chance. Before I go, I want to thank everyone who supports ThreatWire on Patreon. If we're helping you sort out the hot mess of privacy and security, sorry, Privacy Required, we'll try to do better next week. Please become a patron at patreon.com/ThreatWire. We may even feature your adorable fur babies, or adorable fur babies, or Ethernet jacks like this one in the next episode. I hope you contribute to help us keep this coming completely independent and ad-free. If you can't donate, a like, a share, or a subscribe go a very long way too. You can find all our episodes, links to our social networks, and other ways to contribute over at threatwire.net. And with that, I'm Patrick Norton, and I'll see you on the internet.